This is
And
a fictional depiction of a real event. It's a brilliant scene because he just diffuses the whole situation and he reminds them of their humanity in the process. What a sobering movie. Jeez. Hello and welcome to the Brothers Random Show. My name is Travis.
I'm Michael.
And we are two ordinary brothers discussing extraordinary ideas and some random shit. Michael, why are we here?
Today, in honor of veterans for Veterans Day, we are reviewing a great war film, and that is Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan is a 1998 film directed by Steven Spielberg. It stars Tom Hanks, Tom Sizemore, Edward Burns, Barry Piper, and a whole host of young actors at the time who have gone on to do great things. Matt Damon is also one of the people. This is the IMDb summary. Following the Norman landings, a group of U.S. soldiers go behind enemy lines to retrieve a paratrooper whose comrades have been killed in action. That's very, very slim.
It says comrades, but it should be brothers who've been killed in action.
Yeah, so. That's a better way to put it, for sure.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
My history with this film is vague because when it first came out, I don't think I saw this in theaters. I think I actually saw this on VHS or DVD. I don't remember going to the movie theaters to see this one. And in fact, it's been probably 20 years since I've watched it. It's one of those movies that just didn't stick with me for whatever reason. So watching this again, that Omaha Beach scene is harrowing. It's visceral and it is intense as hell. And I had forgotten how intense it was. I found myself sweating.
Wow. Okay.
Just watching it, and having these reactions. I think it was intentional. That's all intentional.
Yeah, I think it's all intentional. What a time when it was all done with practical effects.
Yes.
Because nothing looked fake.
Yeah.
Like it all looked real. And that, I think it's kind of a lost thing when we got so much CGI that's just consuming everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you can usually kind of tell. With this all being done with practical effects, Steven Spielberg even got a lot of amputees to play in this so that it could look real with people who are losing arms and legs and things.
And from my understanding, they even pioneered a new type of squib that would react to the blank in the gun. Normally with a squib, you'd have a guy off to the side of the camera and he'd be maneuvering something and he would try to push the button at the same time that the blank went off. From my understanding, they pioneered a new kind of squib for this movie. This scene alone, just the opener, it did what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to get you into the story, and also it was supposed to horrify you as to what these guys went through. And, you know, I remember reading at the time when it came out, veterans were going to it and they would say that the only thing that was missing from the movie was the smell because it looked so real. It's one of the few movies that Steven Spielberg did not storyboard because he wanted it to have a spontaneous feel to it. And it does. It has this just crazy spontaneous feel.
The very opening, it establishes so many things within the opening of the film. You get to know the medic. You get to know what's happening with him. And the medic, in a sense, is kind of he's supposed to represent the helper. It's funny, if you break down all the different characters, Steven Spielberg went through a lot of just different personality types, and it's supposed to all kind of represent humanity in a sense. You had the helper, you had the naysayer, you had the the guy that questioned and didn't want to, do what he was told.
He was told. There's the new guy, and then there's the guy that is the purpose for their mission.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
We could do like overall thoughts before we really get into spoilers. Not that this movie has spoilers. It shows humanity in inhumane moments, and that's really what I'd have to boil this movie down to, because it's not showing these really heroic moments. Even though there are heroic moments, it's not showing it as a heroic moment. Like basically, like the first scene's got these guys vomiting before they get off these boats to storm the beach. They're a combination of seasickness and also probably they were terrified. It's showing this humanity. It's like we'd seen other war movies leading up to this, but they've never been this visceral. These boys are vomiting before they go out to fight. What an interesting addition to put a little bit of humanity onto this. They're still heroic. You're still kind of realizing that they're actually just young men going off to their deaths.
Yeah, it makes it real for sure. This is one of my favorite films. I think probably top 10, if not top 5 of my favorite films of all time. I watch this film quite often. It's one of my favorites, not just because of the character study and the way it's filmed and the acting. I love it for the realism and what happens at the end, which we'll get into. But this is, one of my top favorite films.
I was probably too young to really appreciate it when I first saw it. And it might have been maybe, I don't know, really intense for me at the time. I remember liking Band of Brothers, which came out a few years later, more.
Which is kind of like this film, only they're all real characters.
Yeah.
And most everything that happened in Band of Brothers actually happened.
Yeah. This is a fictional depiction of a real event, essentially, which is kind of, you have to argue that that's kind of the best way to tell a story, mainly just because you're limited with real characters, and without real characters, with fictional characters, you can kind of broaden the scope of your story. I guess we can get into spoilers. Spoilers now.
Starting off, while watching this film, the first question I had was, there's a scene in the film, Vin Diesel, his character grabs
his third movie, by the way. Like this is like he's not a known name. He's a nobody when this movie's made.
Yeah, they're in the trenches and he pulls out a Hitler's Youth knife and gives it to his friend who's a Jew.
Yeah.
His friend breaks down.
That's Goldberg. Adam Goldberg plays the character. I don't remember the character's name, but Adam Goldberg has done tons of stuff since then, and he is really Jewish. And
I had to question this because I didn't know that on D-Day we knew what was happening to the Jews. We actually did. Yeah. I didn't know that by that time we knew.
So that's why he started crying. Or like just the whole thing kind of came crashing down on him when he just has this moment where he's like, I'm going to use it. What did he say? I'm going to use it for Shabbat.
He receives the knife and he says he'll use it as a Shabbat child cutter, which it sounds like he's going to use in kind of a gallows humor way, where he's going to use the knife on Shabbat to cut the bread. And in a sense, kind of in like a mocking way of saying like, hey, I'm here, I'm alive.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because it's telling for his future.
Yeah.
It's
which
like
he ends up passing away from
a
knife. With
which is like one of the most brutal scenes.
It is one of the most brutal scenes when he passes away. And this, obviously, we're into spoilers if you haven't seen the film, but
that is like, I'm still thinking, it's still giving me chills thinking about it because it's one of the most intense, just raw scenes. Since we're talking about it, I guess we could go into it because it's gallows humor and it's foreshadowing what's going to happen to him because he is killed by a knife from a German soldier. What's crazy about it, there's a moment where he's like pleading with him.
Wait, is it with that knife? Because he pulls the knife.
It might be the same knife. That'd be wild. Yeah.
Is he killed with that same knife? Yes. Yep.
Holy shit.
When he's rolling around, he pulls the knife.
He pulls the knife and then the German
pulls the
soldier
knife when they're rolling around. And then
the German soldier uses it against him. Wow, what a rough scene, man. What a sobering movie. Jeez. So he's joking at the beginning of the movie about the knife. Then the same knife is what kills him later in the movie. Wow.
Spielberg took the scene as being designed to make the audience physically uncomfortable.
It was. It made, yeah. He did the right job. It like Spielberg gets a lot of flack for like having cutesy films because he's always making kids films, or his films are always kind of like kiddie. This movie is the movie that is the adult film that he made. I mean, this and Schindler's List, which he made only like 4 or 5 years prior. So, he was on a roll in the 90s. Let's just say that, because he gets Best Picture, Best Director for Schindler's List 4 or 5 years prior. And then he gets Best Picture, Best Director for this Academy Award. And this was back in the days when we agreed, when people who went to the movies agreed that this was the best movie. Nowadays, it's completely lost in Hollywood, where it's like the movie that becomes the best picture in the Academy Awards is essentially a movie nobody's ever heard of. I mean, this was a financial success, this film. This was a critical success. It was when we agreed on what were good movies back in the day.
I just love that they took this and from beginning to end, it works. Like I can't stand watching films nowadays when I'm just like, guys, why did no one stand up and say that this was a bad idea? Like whatever made the screen right here, that sucked.
Hey, Gilmore, you suck, you jackass.
And whoever signed off on this, that was a bad idea. But this film, like from beginning to end, it
holds up. Yeah, it holds up. Like, and it was made in 98, but you're not limited. You're while you're watching it, you don't think to yourself, this was made over 20 years ago.
Watching it again, I realized how much of a call towards the end was happening throughout the film. So obviously a writer actually took some foreshadowing. The writers actually took some time and thought to what was happening.
Yeah. And the plot is there is a couple of brothers that have died. The War Department doesn't want to have the last remaining brother die. And so they go on this mission to find the last remaining brother. You wanted to say something like about the history of that.
Yeah. So this is loosely based on the Nyland brothers, who 3 of the brothers had passed away and they're from New York. Turns out one of the brothers was just in a POW camp. So he ended up living. They found him later in 1945. but they thought the other 3 had passed away. And so Fritz Nyland, they went and got, and then he went home. But I don't think that there was like a mission. It's kind of taking a few stories and it's loosely kind of putting them together. The Sullivan brothers actually passed away. There were 5 brothers and they were on the same ship, the Juno. And when it sank, they all died together. One, it brought about a policy to try to keep siblings away from each other, not in the same platoon, not on the same boat. So they kind of separated them up just to make sure that they didn't all pass away right at the same time altogether. And that was mentioned in the film. They bring up to the chief of staff letters
of the different brothers passing.
Different brothers who've passed away, and they're all going to be taken to the mother at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sullivan brothers, interestingly, were from Iowa, and Private Ryan is from Iowa in the film. So Steven Spielberg, he took all these different things that were actually historical, and he just kind of put them all together to make this story. Obviously, a fictional story built into a real life world. So yeah, they mentioned that they were all together. All the brothers were together, but then they separated them up after the Sullivan brothers passed away, which is a real event that actually happened. And then they had a policy after the Sullivan brothers that came about, saying if several brothers pass away from one family, they send them home.
They get the last remaining brothers out.
They're just like, we need to have a standard here and get one of them home. There weren't any missions, literally like missions to go get these guys and then send them home, which is what this story is built around. But regardless, it makes for a great story.
Yeah,
it really does.
Well, and it's a bit of an odyssey because they have to keep searching for him. So they keep going through a foreign country to look for this particular guy. So they keep coming across new characters. And what's brilliant about this is Spielberg puts noticeable actors in all these like roles. So like Paul Giamatti shows up. Ted Danson, Ted Danson. He was a comedic actor. Like, it's funny seeing him in this very serious place, very serious role.
Which one was the John Adams guy?
Paul Giamatti. It's such an interesting thing to do is have them all have unique things, even though they're characters that are in the movie for only 10 minutes or whatever. So Paul Giamatti's character keeps complaining about his bad ankles. He's like, I got the ankles of an old lady, and it's just a brilliant touch. It might have even been, I don't know the details, but it could have even been ad-libbed by Paul Giamatti. There's just tons of little nuggets like that all throughout. Like Vin Diesel's character has this soft spot for kids and he keeps trying to help kids out and stuff like that, and that's what gets him ultimately killed. He's the first one in their regiment to die. There's and that's a sad scene too, because they're all telling him, hey, just hold on, don't move, and he's trying to tell him something. This is like Vin Diesel's like third role ever. Like he'd been like a bouncer in Hollywood before he got this part. So
well, and I didn't recognize this until watching it again this time. But when Vin Diesel passes away, he has a letter, and he asks his friend to. He's like, I got blood on it. Can you rewrite it for me? And like, his friend, the medic, Wade the medic, starts doing that. Well,
played by the brilliant Giovanni Ribisi. Like, that guy has done so many things, and he's great in everything he's in. He played like the smarmy villain in the first Avatar movie. Mm-hmm. So the guy is a brilliant actor, tiny dude, but brilliant actor. Anyway, finish what you were saying.
He kind of represents, he represents the helper. Upham kind of represents innocence.
Upham is the translator, and he's new. He's never seen combat.
He's never been to battle. He's never seen combat.
Yeah.
But he knows German and French, and they need somebody. So
translator, yeah.
Captain Miller goes and gets somebody who can be a translator to take into inland with them.
Now let's talk about, I guess, talk a little bit about Oppum. Like, there's the scene we already talked about, the horrific knife scene where Adam Goldberg's character, what is his name, Milish, the Jewish character.
Yep, Mellish.
Oppum had the chance to save him, and because of fear, debilitating fear.
Yeah, he freezes.
He freezes up, and
it shows him several times just frozen.
Yeah,
he's just hiding in a corner. It's easy. And when I was younger,
does he redeem his character later in the movie by killing the other German? I don't think he does.
I don't really think so. He kind of represents innocence in the sense that nobody really knows war unless they've been in it.
Yeah.
Right. And he represents, a lot of people are kind of armchair quarterbacks in this sense, because we as the audience can sit there and be like, oh, that horrible Upham.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you if I'd act the same way or not.
Right. We haven't seen war, but like, it's really easy to sit and judge. Throughout the film, Upham, he seems like a student. He's an academic. He says things like, I want to get to know you guys because, brotherly camaraderie.
Yeah, he wants to write a book about brotherly camaraderie. And so he's a student of war. He's not a practitioner. He's never been in it. He doesn't have a lot of respect, and he doesn't really earn anybody's respect because he freezes up, and that's what gets Adam Goldberg's character killed.
Because they run out of ammo, and they're yelling for Upham.
And I don't think he redeems his character. He does end up killing the German that kills Miller.
Yes, the guy they let go is the one that kills Miller.
I want to talk about that scene. So there's a scene in the movie that they capture a German, and this German had killed a couple of their comrades, specifically Wade. The scene with Wade dying is tragic.
Yep.
It's one of those scenes because you can tell that he's not going to live, and they are trying desperately to keep him from dying, and they keep wiping away the blood, and it keeps showing up. Yeah. It's so tragic, and they're trying to get him to tell them what to do, because he
knows
medic.
He knows, you see it in his face, he knows it's a lost cause. He says, just give me more morphine
for the pain, because he knows as soon as there's a moment where he goes, oh, it's my liver, he's like, and he's also asking about the spine. He's like, I think it's got my spine.
I think it got my spine.
Yeah. And so because he's got 3 bullet holes in him, you can tell.
Jeez.
It's just so, it's one of the most, it's like the show-stopping scene. It's the scene where you're just like, your emotions are just raw at that point, because he's this character that you really like. He's enduring to all the other characters because he wants to save everybody's life.
He's the healer.
He's the healer.
This was kind of the point. It's almost a little bit of the like the loss of innocence, like the loss of the good. He's the healer in the community
of these guys. Yeah,
this is war. War kills the good,
the innocence, the good,
and the innocence. Yeah,
he dies, and they all have this moment where they decide to let a German go, and they're arguing and they're fighting over it. And Captain Miller, in his wisdom to get these guys to stop the bickering by giving them a mystery that they've all been wondering about since they known him, because Captain Miller wouldn't tell anybody what he did before the war. And
there was a pool. They were all betting.
They're all betting.
Figure it out.
And so there's this argument that breaks out among all of them because they're letting this German, the German that killed Wade, the medic, they're letting him go because he's a prisoner of war, and they can't take him with them because they need to finish their mission. So they just let him go. And Miller, to get the bickering to stop, just tells everybody what he used to do. And again, Spielberg is genius in this moment because it brings back the humanity to these characters because they're acting like monsters towards each other. They're fighting, they're screaming at each other. They've pulled guns on each other. They're about to take each other out. And he diffuses the situation in the most brilliant and stoic way you could possibly write a character. That's why this character is brilliant. And he goes, I'm a school teacher. I'm a school teacher. They all respect him so much. They probably in their minds made up this idea that he was like the head of a Fortune 500 company. And he's just a school teacher.
What the fuck?
It's a brilliant scene because he just diffuses the whole situation and he reminds them of their humanity in the process. He basically says, every time I kill somebody, it takes me further away from home. And that's why he didn't want to kill that German. But what is Spielberg saying by making that German the one who kills him at the end?
Just pointing out that in war, the first casualty is decency. I think that's what he's pointing out, that nobility is what gets killed in war.
Nobility.
I think that's kind of what he's pointing out. So you try to do the right thing, and sometimes it just bites you in the butt. Yeah.
For me, that was one of the best scenes in the film.
Yeah, was that.
Just when he diffuses the whole thing by answering a question they've all had about him.
And you mentioned him being a stoic. He is throughout the film, but he also he gets away from all of his men and he breaks down. There is that scene.
But stoicism is not the absence of feeling. It's not the it's the control
of it. So he allows himself to
allows himself to fill in that moment.
But he has to break away from his men
to do it. Yeah.
To do it. So
and then there's something psychological going on with him because he's got the shakes.
Some PTSD is
working its way through his psychology. Which is just all brilliant. I don't know if Tom Hanks manufactured some of these things, if it was in the script or if Spielberg. He is the most honorable character. And among the casualties of war, he just keeps his humanity and he keeps going back to it. The one scene where you think that he's cracking, where he starts yelling to all the refugees coming out of the city, he's just yelling, does anybody know Ryan? Does anybody know a Private Ryan, James Ryan from Iowa? You know, he keeps yelling and he's just randomly, because he's getting sick of searching for this guy like a needle in a haystack. And ironically, by him doing that, they find another
somebody
clue, somebody who knew where he was.
Yeah.
That's like the one time where you see him really cracking under the pressure. And all of his men are like, this is not normal. You know, this isn't normal for him to just randomly start yelling at people and carry on like that. So, I mean, there's those moments where his humanity kind of cracks through. And like you said, like the moment where he's crying and he has to walk away from his men. He makes sure nobody's watching him. He's one of the best written characters, I think, probably ever. He's one of the better written characters. It is ironic that the German soldier they let go is the one that ultimately shoots him and kills him.
I have this quote that I pulled up, kind of the question that the movie's asking: what is the value of one life, and what do we owe the people who paid for ours? So in a sense, this is the story of saving one life. Well, and even when they're in the church, Captain Miller is talking with, he's the sergeant. Horif, yep. So he's talking to him and he's like, how many men have I lost under my command? And he's trying to make sense of it. Like, I've lost all these men under my command, but their loss, does it save thousands? Right? And it is the kind of the ultimate question in warfare is like, does the loss of this man save the lives of many? And this is before, and he's lost one man under his command to find Private Ryan. Well, he ends up losing his own life and that of his whole crew, literally to save this one man. And as he's dying, this is the ultimate horrifying thing for Private Ryan.
And most veterans.
Is he pulls him in close to him. He says, "Earn this. Earn it." And those are the last words on his mouth.
Earn this. Earn it.
And literally at the end of the film, it shows him as an old man, which it starts out with him.
Yeah, it's a book
as an old man.
It's bookends of the story.
You see him going to Arlington.
Yeah, Arlington Cemetery. Yeah.
Cemetery. Yeah. And he says, "I brought my family with me today to show you that I've been a good man.
I've earned it.
I want to show you that I've earned it." And then his wife comes up to him and he turns to her and he asks, "Tell me I'm a good man. Tell me I've lived a good life." So it's this question of, have you done good in your life because others have died to make that possible? We're all a little bit Private Ryan.
Yeah. And when it comes to the vets of this country, yeah, that's the point. That's the whole point of the movie, is that all of the citizens, and we all should be striving to earn it. That's why we decided to do this for Veterans Day. We should all be earning it.
We're all out here trying to earn it. So thank you. We're trying to earn it.
Yeah. Check us out on social media, Instagram, X, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just look for The Sword in the Skull.
If you liked our conversation, you're the subscriber we are looking for.
Until next time, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, learn more. See you, brother.
See ya.